going, and then we can get started. So to help me better understand and assist you in today's session, and really my hope is that it's going to be an informal session that I can be able to assist you and answer your questions as you're prepping for the virtual career fair. So please feel free to jump in and use the chat box to type in any questions that you have. Also feel free to turn on your mic and answer or ask any questions that you have as well. I think you all should be able to use the mic. If you're not, let me know. Otherwise, raise your hand and I can call on you as well. So why don't we go around, if you can introduce yourself and maybe share what you hope to, any questions that you have or hope to take away from the session. Maybe that will help kind of open up the door for me and help give me direction of where to start. So maybe I'll just go down the list here. So Zachary, can you jump on and just introduce yourself and share a little bit about why you what you're going to take away from the session today?
Sorry about it.
I want to present first so you can turn on your mic. Okay, there you go.
Can you hear me right now?
Yep, we can hear you. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, I was just joining to try to learn more about career fair. I signed up to meet with Secura, so I've never been to a career fair before, and it's kind of weird with it being virtual. So any little tidbits of information I could get would be. All
right. All right, Allison, do you want to jump in next?
Hi. Can you hear me? Okay. Yeah, just learning more about like the virtual career fair.
Okay. And then Jennifer?
I wanted to say know tips on how to how to go through the career fair virtually.
Okay. All right, so just how to navigate the career fair in general?
Yes.
All right. Sarah?
Can you hear me okay?
Yep, we can hear you.
Okay. So I guess for me, I've been to several career fairs before. I guess just really because it obviously it's a different twist with it being online. Just kind of maybe some tips that you have or anybody else has regarding how to keep conversation going, how to steer conversation, everything like that. Just because before when you were in career fair, you could take less than 10 minutes or more than 10 minutes and kind of feel the conversation out and then move on from there. So I guess kind of timing and everything too.
Okay. Awesome. And then Trent?
I'm just here so I can, it's been a while since I've been to a career fair, so I kind of wanted to get a refresher on like what's important and what is important to talk about, so that's why I'm here.
Okay. Sounds good. So it seems like, so yeah, I could definitely do that. I will cover some bases of what you can do to kind of help prep, and then I will also share my screen and help you navigate the career fair from the student side on Handshake. It is interesting because it's the first time that we are doing a virtual career as well, and so there's a lot of pieces that we're still learning. We did do a virtual student employment fair, which we learned a lot from that as well, and so it's definitely different. If you've been to the career fair before, it's a lot different. If you've never been to the career fair, hopefully this will seem seamless for you as you navigate that. So I'll go ahead and just go through a quick slide, and then, like I said, I will switch over to the Handshake screen on the career fair platform and then walk you through. And at any time, if you have any questions, feel free to jump in, use your mic to ask those questions, or type in a chat message, okay? So for the first couple of things that I do recommend all of you do, and I will show you on how to do this on in Handshake as well, is obviously prepare, and that goes for any your traditional career fair as well as the virtual one. So make sure you prepare. So have a complete Handshake profile. I think just going through, double check to make sure you have the correct year and on there, correct major. Make sure your profile is complete. We do ask students once they log into Handshake to prompt students to complete the career interest survey, so then that way Handshake is customized per what you're looking for. So I do recommend completing that piece as well. I'll show you how to do and update some of those pieces. And then also I would recommend updating and uploading your resume. So someone asked if it's going to be similar to C2C. I would say and that's the college to career event, I would say it would closely mirror that. So, Sarah, did you attend the career fair? Did you attend C2C last week?
Yeah, I did. I was just wondering if you thought the formatting was going to be fairly similar. It went really smoothly, and I liked kind of how it was set up. It was a little wonky. I had a couple things that were back to back, so it was kind of hard to jump out of meetings right into other ones.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I liked how it was set up, and I was just kind of wondering if it was going to be set up similarly.
Yep, it will be exactly the same setup as C2C. So you
Okay,
will sign
awesome.
up for group session, you will sign up for one-on-one sessions, and so the setup will be exactly the same. So if you participate in that, I think it will be awesome if you can share some of your perspective as I'm going through some of the features and that. But yes, it will be similar. All right. So I would say update and upload your resume on there so that you can easily access that. And then it's just for ease of applying for opportunities. So if you connect with an organization and is interested in a position or they share a position and encourage you to apply, it's nice to just have your resume ready on Handshake so that you can hit apply and then attach that resume right away. The other piece that I do recommend, and same with a traditional career fair, is prepare your elevator pitch, right? So if you don't know what a pitch is, it's kind of the whole concept or idea of thinking, if you were to go into an elevator and you only have a couple of seconds to introduce yourself to someone that you're interested in, and not working with, or that's someone that the whole idea of a CEO in a company and the elevator, and you want to introduce yourself, what would be some of the information that you want to share? And so that pitch is that initial, like, introduce yourself. I usually encourage students to start with their name. So just a simple hi, hello, my name is Nhia. And a little bit about your background, and that can include work experience that you've had. It can include your education. So you might say, I am a sophomore majoring in accounting, and I am currently looking for internship opportunities. Maybe share some of the experiences that you've had. So if you have any work experiences, if you have done internship, you can pull in some of that background as well. So you might say, that you've had some customer service experience, but as you're looking to transition into the accounting major, that you're hoping to learn more about opportunities and gain opportunity internship experience to help you as you go into the accounting field. So that's just an example of what I might do if I were accounting student. And maybe share some of your career goals. So in my example, like I said, I am a sophomore. I am pursuing a major in accounting and looking to learn more about opportunities in the accounting profession, and specifically looking for internships. So that's what I would include, and keep it conversational, right? So for it's yes to introduce yourself, but always just kind of think of, if you first meet someone, what would be some information that you want them to know about you right off the bat. So definitely prepare that piece. So any questions for me about that? And we can circle back to this once I go through as well. So All right. The other piece that I would recommend is obviously registering for the career fair early and doing some research ahead of time. So before I jump to this, let me go into Handshake, and I'll show you how to do some of the uploading your resume and profile first, and then I'll go back to how to register. So just bear with me as I transition my screen, okay? All right, can everyone see my Handshake screen now? Yes, okay, thank you, Sarah. Okay, so I'm here. So I've mentioned a couple of things. The first thing is to make sure that your profile is updated. So if you click on your initial on the top right corner here and click on My Profile, here you can add it and make sure that you have the correct major, correct year in school, the year of when you're anticipating on graduating, what your major is, and so on. So some of this information might have been imported directly from PeopleSoft when we do the updates. But if you haven't changed that officially, you want to make sure that it's accurate and updated in Handshake, okay? So again, just go to your initial on the top, go to your profile, and then if you hover, there should be a little pencil icon that would allow you to edit your information. And if there is a specific component that you can't change on your end, just let the staff know. Just email the career email, and we can see if we can edit or update that for you as well. So once you make that update, just save that. The other piece that I mentioned is making sure that you upload your document or your resume. So to do so, just go to Documents, and then add or a new document, and then just pull your resume from where it is. I do recommend saving your resume in PDF format. It just that just ensures that the format is the way you intend it to be. It's just better than a Word document. Sometimes it gets kind of funky sometimes when you transition things onto a new system here. So I do recommend saving it as a PDF and then uploading that into Handshake. So that's how you would upload your resume. And then the next piece I mentioned earlier is the career interest survey. So if you go again, click on your name and down to career interest, this is where you are going to be able to identify the type of position you're looking for, how Handshake can help you, what are you looking to do, what kind of jobs are you interested in. So doing this is going to be helpful because some of the employers that register, not some, but when employer register for the career fair, they are prompted to select, the type of majors they're looking to hire for or the type of position they're looking to recruit for. And so depending on what you put on this career interest survey may trigger what you can and cannot see in terms of group session and the type of employer. It's really selective, so we are encouraging employers to keep their information pretty broad or to not put in criteria. But in case they do put in certain criteria on here to ensure that if you do fit what they're looking for, just double check the information. Does that make sense? So again, we're encouraging them to keep their information open and more broad, so that way they can capture a wider number of students in case students don't update don't update information. But if it's just in your best interest if you do fill this out too, in case they do select certain criteria. So that is a couple of things I do recommend that you do up front. All right, now to the career fair. So if you, like I was saying before, make sure you register for the career fair. Once you register, that would then allow you to see the sessions that are available for you to connect with employers. So to register for the career fair, if you go to the events tab, you can type in facts. Typically, we'll pull in our career fair in a fax here. Click into the actual event, and then I can write it register, but if I haven't registered, this box will be blue. and then you just click register. But since I registered already, mine is on there. So once you register here, what then I would recommend you do is look for sessions. So how the career fair is structured is that each of the employer that are registered to attend the career fair are encouraged to set up group sessions. So group sessions are about 30-minute sessions that a representative will come on at their scheduled time and give a overview of the organization. They might introduce a couple of different positions that they're looking to recruit for. They might share information about their company culture. So it's really that informational session. And those, again, are 30 minutes. And then they are also encouraged to set up one-on-one sessions. So each of the representatives that are attending the career fair can set up one-on-one schedule or one-on-one sessions that are 10 minutes each. So those one-on-one sessions are going to be much more like your face-to-face when you go to a traditional career fair, maybe having that interact with one representative and just having a conversation like you and I would. So in those one-on-one, you can share the camera, turn on the webcam, you can use the video, and just have a conversation virtually with a representative for 10 minutes. It's the opportunity for you to ask maybe more direct questions versus the group sessions. So the one thing to know is that if you do register for group sessions, you are kind of locked into that group session for that full 30 minutes. For the one-on-one sessions, you can join in and leave once your session is done. But I think, Sarah, you mentioned earlier, right, that if you have back-to-back sessions, sometimes it's kind of hard to leave that session and go into another session. Is that correct?
Yeah, so because they go like right up to like the 10-minute mark, even sometimes like you're talking with an employer, you can be like, you can end up going even like a minute or two over, and so that like it's hard to get into the other session, and then it kind of makes you look bad. So I scheduled mine 10 minutes apart, so like every other, it seemed like it helped quite a bit.
So that's a great tip, and I think and I think that's what we run into too for some people is that and for the group session, the other thing to know is that if you do have a one-on-one 10-minute one-on-one session with someone, and if that does happen to run over in your schedule for a group session right after, so let's say that you have a 12:30 group session and your one-on-one went over to 12:35. You once the group session starts, beyond that 5 minute, you are not able to join in. So that's the other issue why why Sarah makes a good point that I do recommend maybe spacing out your session and spacing out your one-on-one. So just know that for the one-on-one session, you can join in late, but then for the group session, it does lock you out after that 5-minute window. So just keep that in mind as you're scheduling your group and your one-on-one sessions. And does anyone need me to recap the difference between the group and the one-on-one sessions, or does that make sense? I can't see everyone, so chat would be helpful. Yes? Okay. Thank you. It's kind of hard with some of these when I can't see any of the nonverbal. So awesome. So once you are registered for the career fair, it'll bring you to this screen. And so to look and ahead and do some research, if you click on the available sessions here, you can see all the organizations that are attending. So what I would do or recommend maybe is if you're looking for a specific employer, let me, okay. So here are the organizations that will be attending. So you can see that each organization have a description of what they do. You can see if they have any group sessions or one-on-one sessions on here. So if you're like, okay, career role seems like something that I would be interested in, you can see that they have a group session at 3:30 to 4:30 on that day. They also have a general session at 12 on here. So if you click into the session here, if that fits what you're looking for, you're like, okay, 12 to 12:30 fits in my schedule. And if you're interested in that organization, you could just click confirm, and that will put you in that group session then. So I know it's a lot of kind of going through on here, but there is a number of different group sessions on here. If you are looking for a specific type of organization, let me go back to the career fair detail on here. If you click on here, you can see, go back to, again, I know I clicked through that really quick, but if you click on career fair details here, if you want to know which employers are attending, you can click on the see all 49 organizations that are attending. And then here you can see that you can see all of the organizations that will be attending. This is maybe one of the ways that you can start in doing too, is just saying, okay, what companies are there? Maybe I'll do some research on these organizations, see if they're an organization that is of interest to you. If they are, then you can see if they have any group sessions or one-on-one sessions. Here you can read more about them on here. Does that make sense? So if you're like, okay, I see that Amport is attending and I'm interested in connecting with them, you can go to the available session and maybe just click, type in Amport. I don't see any other sessions, so let's see if there's a different one that maybe they didn't set up their sessions yet. So let's see if GE has any sessions. Oops. So on here, if I type in GE, they pop up, and then I can see that they have group session at 12:30. You can also see if they have any one-on-one sessions. So if you're interested in meeting one-on-one with a representative from there, you can click on one-on-one, and then it will show you all of the available time slots that they have for one-on-one sessions on here. And you can also see which representative is there. So this is actually a neat one because you can see that they have a number of reps that will be attending, and you can see what their role is too. So then that way, if you're interested in GE and you're interested in digital tech specifically, then maybe you might choose to meet with Xiong instead. Or if you're interested on here, so they have an architecture developer on here for Austin, and then if you click on it, and confirm. I won't do that because I don't want to take away from any session. But if you click on it and hit confirm, then that will schedule you for a one-on-one. And if you are, as you're scheduling your sessions, if you want to see what you've signed up for, click on your sessions on here, and then it will tell you which sessions you're signed up for. And it does put it in chronological order based on your time. So 5 minutes prior to the start of that session, this join video link will turn blue, and then you can click right into it, and then it will take you into that session. Otherwise, if you no longer are able to go, I might recommend then just making sure you go in and cancel the reservation too, so they know that you're no longer attending. Any questions for me so far on this? I know I was jumping around a bit, but let's see, I think there's a question on here. Okay. So any question, does that make sense? So I would say look at the career fair, do some research on the companies that will be attending, make note maybe of a couple of organizations that piques your interest, and then go to the available sessions and then see if they have any sessions. And I recommend again, joining either the session if the time fits with your schedule, or schedule the one-on-one session as well. If you are interested in an organization and they don't have a group session, or they happen to not have any one-on-one session at a time that fits in your schedule, if you click into the information on here, the career fair detail, there is oftentimes a registrant that information on here that we can connect you with, and maybe we can reach out to that employer and see if they have a additional time an additional time that might fit with your schedule instead. Because I know that sometimes they they might have a very slim window of opportunity in terms of one-on-one session or group session. But if you really want to connect with them, just reach out to one of us if their information is not visible, and then we can connect you to that employer and see if they are able to schedule something outside of that time. Questions about the group sessions? So anything else, Sarah, that I know I'm calling up on you because since you had this experience, anything else that you would add that I did not touch on in terms of group sessions?
No, I don't think so. I think you did a good job covering everything.
Okay, awesome. So yeah, definitely, like I said, sign up for the career. Okay, everyone see my PowerPoint here? Okay, I think I see it on my screen. So, all right, so like I said, sign up for the career fair. That would allow you to see the different employers that will be attending, and then search and sign up for sessions. Going back to my earlier point, if you have a small window of opportunity in terms of coming to the career fair, I might recommend scheduling those one-on-one sessions versus going to the group session, and then trying to space it out in case the session does run over. And then doing some research. So like your traditional career fair, I always encourage students prior to actually going in and connecting with that employer, I would do some research on that company and kind of see so that you know a little bit more about what they do, see what opportunities they have, so that when you are in those one-on-one session, you can have more meaningful conversation, right? So in reality, we all should know, if I'm interested in a given company, I should know generally what they do. But to get the most out of these interaction, do that research ahead of time. So the type of question that you might want to ask is, if I'm interested, I see that you guys have an accounting position, internship position for the summer. I'm really interested in that. What are some of the things that you recommend that I do to make me stand out? Or what are some, how would I go about connecting with someone from that department to learn more about that position? So doing your research ahead of time is going to allow you to ask, again, more in-depth questions that is going to give you some more meaningful information or insight to those actual opportunity. I know someone had asked, how do you keep conversation going and how do you keep that timing? I always say, if you ask about opportunities and after they share that, one of the things that I love asking employers that I act with is just, that question about how they got into the organization, right? How did you get into the organization and what do you enjoy most about working for that organization? I love asking that question because I feel like it gives me insight into the company culture, and then also gives me insight into just the background of the individuals that work there. And when we look at networking situation, I think people really enjoy sharing their experience and their background. And so I think it's neat to just ask them about how did you get into that position? What do you enjoy most about working for that organization or about that position that you're in? So those would be some of the questions that I like asking employers. And then obviously on here, prepare additional questions that you have. So doing that research ahead of time is going to help you kind of really think about genuinely what additional information didn't you get from your research that you are actually interested in knowing. Is it benefit, conversion rates from internship to full-time position, right? those are some of the neat things, again, that I like to ask employers. So just having some of those questions ahead of time for each organization that you are going to be connecting with is going to be helpful. And then the day of the career fair, I do recommend finding a quiet place to sit so that you can avoid any kind of distraction from that. I know that in a virtual setting, we are all kind of prepared to expect the unexpected. So just make sure you have a quiet place to sit. If you don't have a space, we do have some office space in our office that you can reserve on the day of too. So if you need a quiet room, you can definitely utilize that space. I would say do some, make sure show up on time. So as the career fair, I would encourage you to log on early prior to your session times. Check to make sure your connection is working, because you never know what's gonna happen during the day of. So make sure that your internet connection is working well. Make sure that your camera is working. Make sure that you can hear yourself. The volume is good. And then review your schedule and just double check to make sure you have all your time, because like Sarah mentioned earlier, it's important that you do still show up on time, because it demonstrates that promptness, demonstrate that professionalism. And if you do run over, it's okay. Just let the employer know that you've been networking and your last session went over. They will totally understand that as well. So, if you do run over, just be transparent about that and share that. I would still recommend that you dress to impress. So I know it's a virtual setting, but I would recommend still dressing up, because I think that when you dress up, it will help boost that confidence and just exude that confidence. And I think that that's really important in those networking situations, even in a virtual setting. So still definitely continue to make sure that you have a professional attire on. Make sure that your background is appropriate and doesn't have anything that's inappropriate. And then, lastly, just be curious and ask those questions that you have. It's virtual. It's the reality is that it's a virtual on a virtual platform, but it's still a networking situation. It's still an opportunity for you to engage with the organization, engage with employer, and make those connections and have those conversations. So keep it casual if you need to, but definitely be curious and ask those questions. So like I said, the platform is just different, but it still runs similar to what a traditional career fair would be. So being prepared definitely is going to help you get the most out of your experience. And then here are just some additional resources. And if you want access to the slide and to the links to these additional resources, put in your email address in the chat box, and then I will email the PowerPoint to you, so then that way you can access the links to these articles that Handshake has put together. So any questions for me? I know that was a lot of information, and I didn't intend to be lectury, but hopefully that answers some of your questions and give you some tips for how to navigate the career fair. So any questions for me at this time? I'll open it up and for any questions that you have. Did I answer everyone's question? I know a number of you wanted me to recap how to sign up for a session, how to prepare for conversation. Was that enough information for you? Thank you, Sarah. All right, so if there's no question, I'll still stick around in case you do have anything. But otherwise, like I said, if you're interested in the PowerPoint, type in your email address, and then I will email you that PowerPoint, okay?